With the Excalbians' trials almost concluded, we are ready to enter into the last instance that they've prepared. Apparently, they're attempting to discover what philosophy builds a stronger society, good or evil, and have devised a series of tests to distill examples of goodly actions from us. To this end, they have selected Admiral Hale, 7 of 9, and a recreation of Commander Burnham. Characters that have made decisions based on their own morality, even if that put them at odds with others. The last two experiences were derived from the memories of the player character, but with alterations to the narrative in order to introduce a tougher situation than the real event on which it is based. But this time, we're about to face an event not from our past, but one we created from the memories of Commander Burnham. However, we should expect it to vary from the original in the way it unfolds. We step through the portal to the next prepared testing ground to find unfamiliar surroundings.
This place isn't familiar. Either of you know where we are?
Just what I just said. But no, honestly, this could be a number of places. I guess it's some sort of utility installation, judging by the hazard line markers. It is a workplace. But no. Commander?
I know where we are, I just don't know when. Knowing that's gonna make all the difference here, believe me. Let's take a look at those consoles and see if there's any useful information in them.
Very well. I mean, these consoles look as if they are from the early 2200s, but that stuff was in use for decades. You know what, maybe I should stop trying to judge them based on appearance and actually look through the files on them.
Science officer's log. ESA 4 was a test site for Section 31's Project Daedalus. It appears to be abandoned. The planet's atmosphere is toxic to most life forms, but we were able to establish a safe work area and habitat. We've set up a plasma reactor to power the phase discriminators will need to capture the Red Angel. If the plan works, that is. If it doesn't, this may be my final log entry.
This is a recent entry, but the area is deserted. We need to know more.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was Burnham's voice.
Science officer's log. Control found us. We fought valiantly, but Discovery wasn't a match for Control's Section 31 ships. What's left of her crashed, not far from here. Somehow, Saru and Tilly were able to transfer the sphere data to this location. But it's only a matter of time before Control figures that out and comes to collect its prize. I need to get the sphere data somewhere Control can't find it. To do that, I need the Red Angel. But the thing is, I can't trap the Red Angel without help. So I can only hope that someone from Discovery has survived, and they make it here before Control does. If Tilly was here, she'd be a font of optimism.
You knew Tilly?
But I know what that atmosphere can do. I don't think anyone else is going to make it. Logic suggests that I take steps to destroy the sphere data before it's too late. For now, I'm sticking with optimism. As Spock would say, there are always possibilities.
Okay, well, does this shed any light on our situation?
Everything matches up to the point where Discovery crashes. That's where things change, and for the worse. Judging by the lack of survivors present, I think we have to finish what they started. If that's even possible.
Right, so I'm a little unfamiliar with the specifics.
Do you have a question?
So this Project Daedalus, I've seen the name in reference to time travel, considering that it's, Mark Hale's specialty, but I've never delved into the specifics of it. And there's a lot of red tape around it. Section 31 explains why, but what's this about Control?
Control is a sophisticated artificial intelligence created by Section 31. It was originally designed as a threat assessment program, but it evolved into something terrible. If it collects the sphere data, Control will pursue a path that ultimately leads to a complete loss of life in the galaxy. We cannot let that happen.
Right, well, that does sound dire, and it was a Section 31 creation? No wonder Starfleet kept this hush. That's a really bad look. What is this sphere data?
The sphere was a life form. It was extremely old and collected a vast amount of invaluable data over the course of its life. It passed that information on to the crew of Discovery before it died. Control did everything it could to acquire the data, particularly the data on artificial intelligence. It wants that data to achieve sentience. If that happens, it's all over. Control will be unstoppable.
Well, we've put an end to several supposedly unstoppable threats before. Let's not forget, the universe isn't ending today. This is a recreation. Well, almost a recreation.
We were so close to this. To failure.
Yes, best not to think about how close things could have gone.
To death.
Or you could dwell on it. So ESOF 4 is an uninhabitable planetoid of carbon monoxide and high temperatures, which I guess makes it a great spot to place a hidden base, although this planetoid does have rich deuterium reserves, so any installation would have an excuse to brave the dangers of working here. Section 31 used this place to test their time travel suit, which is less of a proper time travel thing and more like a bungee jump to a different point in time, always tethering back to its original point. In the shows, they attempted to capture the Red Angel as it came back to protect Burnham by holding it in place.
We need to set up the phase discriminators at that console.
Although now the circumstances have changed, we're attempting to pretty much do the same thing.
Good. Now we need to prepare the stasis beams at that console.
We'll bait the trap, the Red Angel will come back, then we'll instigate our trap, hold it in place.
So far, so good. We need to use that console to prime the EMP next.
Disable it, take out the occupant, stick our Burnham in along with the sphere data, and then send it into the far future, well beyond Control's reach. So again, a similar plan, but in this version the USS Discovery has crashed nearby, so we have no external resources or help from them.
Almost finished. Use that console to align the containment field.
Well, I can tell you've done this before, and with everything we need already set up. I doubt this is the trial part. The death of the Discovery crew is tragic, but that is not a moral choice that we've been confronted with, unlike every other trial so far. Yarnik has always presented us with a point where we've had to make a decision and justify why it is the good choice. So I'm expecting the same here. At some point, the differences wrought are going to result in us making a decision.
We've set up the trap. Now all it needs is the bait. Me. You'll need to go back to the previous room, close the door, and turn off the vents.
Okay. And this worked before, right? I'm not actually going to, asphyxiate you or anything.
Yes. Assuming things go as they did before, the Red Angel will appear in time to save my life. When that happens, activate the trap.
And close the atmospheric doors. Otherwise you will... never mind. Of course, unbeknownst to us, the original Red Angel pilot was Gabriel Burnham, Michael's mother and one of the two designers of the suit, hence the reason it would always turn up when she was in danger. Even if she knew this was a trap, she would still walk into it to save her daughter. It was a risky plan because when initially acted upon, Michael didn't know this either and was only acting on her hunch based on a pattern of the Red Angel's actions. So, I sincerely hope that the changes haven't been so drastic as to change the person in the suit.
I've done all I can with these ancient phase discriminators.
We should have the power we need for this little stunt.
But we're only getting one shot, so make it count. No pressure.
Well, the atmospheric pressure's about the same.
Ready when you are, Commander.
Right. Do it.
Initiate sequence on my mark. In 5, 4.
3, 2. Wait, abort! Do not engage. Picking up a massive surge of tachyon radiation.
She's here! Do it! Do it now!
Activate the phase discriminators. Activating EMP.
What are you doing? We don't have time for this. Discovery is gone. We have to deal with it ourselves. We have to stop Control now, or it all ends.
And now we have 2 burn-ups. This ought to be interesting.
Ah, So that's another difference. And interestingly, probably the reason the Angel turned up before Burnham was put in any danger at all. Unlike Gabriel Burnham, this future version is of the same person, so they cannot let their past selves die at all. And presumably they remembered this.
I get the feeling you were expecting someone else in that suit, Commander.
Yes. My mother. She designed the suit with my father, and used it to escape a Klingon attack. In doing so, she learned how control ended all life in the future. After that, she used the suit to try and stop that from happening. Clearly, in this reality, that task has fallen to me.
Okay, but the plan's still a go-ahead, right?
Transfer the sphere data to my suit so I can take it into the future, where Control can never find it. We need to act fast. Control is on its way here now. This needs to happen before it arrives.
Alright, I'm presuming you remember this from, what, being here now? Or are we in an unwritten timeline? Either way, I expect Yarnik to twist our actions into the worst possible outcome for all life, as he has done before. But throwing the data into the future saved the universe before, so I see no reason as to think it wouldn't work this time.
How? The sensor log said Discovery went down with all hands.
Struggle is pointless.
Oh, that's nasty. Also, where did he get Landry and Lorca's bodies?
Control's using members of Discovery's crew as shock troops.
Yes, I noticed. Unsavoury. We open fire on the, well, zombies, I guess, as they begin their attack on us. Control escaped its original location on the Section 31 base by transferring itself through drones, androids, and eventually a swarm of networked nanobots. In this fashion, it was also able to inject itself into organic bodies and puppeteer them around, killing the host. I would say it's similar to Borg assimilation, except, well, aside from the fact that they're nanobots, there's nothing really else the same. The aim of the Borg is to adapt and perfect themselves. This just kills the host. Speaking of, once defeated, the nanites vacate their bodies.
If I leave the field, I'll return to the future. You'll have to fight Control without me. Control can't be killed with regular weapons. You need to do something unconventional.
Well, you stopped it once. How did you do that?
Try to magnetize the floor. It'll disrupt it. Weaken it and lure it to me. I'll distract it while you give it a magnetic shock. It'll take several shocks to finish it for good.
The collection of control nanites the control entity has formed is very durable and seems resistant to most effects. Fortunately, however, its form is rather basic and relies on physical contact. Unfortunately, that damage that they deal is therefore not registered by our personal shielding.
It's weakened. Lead it to the platform.
Convenient, we're already here.
I've got its attention. Quick! Magnetize the floor!
Elements of the trap used to contain the Red Angel suit are then directed at Control, while we run back to activate the EMP.
It worked! Do it again!
I can't, the EMP's spent, it needs to recharge. As a result, Control breaks free and makes for us immediately. It has several attacks, from simply bludgeoning us with its formed limbs, as well as the ability to create shards of metal to fling at us. Additionally, if we delay too long before activating the EMP blast, it will break free of its own and have to be weakened again. We'll need to hit it with the EMP a total of 3 times in order to neutralise it.
It's weakened! Lead it to the platform!
As before, when sufficiently damaged, it makes for us immediately intent on bludgeoning us to death.
It's distracted! Give it another blast! Magnetize the floor again! Good! One more shock should finish it off!
As before, it leaves the platform to deal with us, but now it has a new trick up its wriggly sleeve. Not only is it faster and more violent, it is now capable of leaving behind smaller pools of itself to form independent tendrils that throw metal shards at us. These can stack up to at least 3, maybe even up to 5, and really up the level of damage it can output, as well as hindering our efforts to kite Control around. Our best method of defeating it in this phase seems to be to try to draw it into areas where its separate tendrils cannot reach us, but even then it's a tough battle, and I do drop several times during this fight.
It's weakened! Lead it to the platform!
However, my method of ignoring the tendrils has its own shortcomings, because they're not trapped when it is.
Hurry! Magnetize the floor! Finish it off!
It broke free. Everyone weaken it again. Now!
Basically, the tendrils that I'd ignored managed to take me out before I can reach the control, and by the time I've respawned, it's broken free. So we have to repeat the final phases of battle until eventually we capture it in the final EMP blast.
That did it! It's down! Ah!
Well, that's not good.
Control is using nanites to take over the future version of me. If that happens, it'll gain access to the sphere data.
Because we already put it in the suit.
I can try to inoculate future Burnham with my own nanites. This should prevent Control from accessing the sphere data through her, but it'll alter her biosignature. She won't be compatible with the suit if this works.
You gonna assimilate her?
Too risky. The suit could wind up trapped here. Given time, Control could find a way to access the sphere data. We need to think about destroying the data. Purge it from the suit before Control can access it.
I could do that, but losing that data, all of that knowledge gone forever. Consider this. The means of eliminating Control could be held within the sphere data as well. Deleting it could be a fatal mistake.
Ah, so there's the conundrum, and as I have before, I have explored both options and left the choice for you. Option 1 is to infect Burnham with the Borg nanites to change her DNA signature, rendering her incompatible with the DNA-locked suit. This will leave us the suit and the data while forcing Control to retreat. However, the threat is still out there. Option 2 is to use 7 of 9's nanites to infiltrate the suit and purge the sphere data, but who knows what will happen to Burnham when that happens. We also lose access to a massive library of information, thousands of years of observation and history, but at least it removes the origin of this crisis. So go ahead, and I'll see you in the end.